Okay, so hello everybody, and thank you for joining today's webinar. The whole recording of the video of the webinar and the PowerPoints will be sent via email link to the participants, as well as the certificate of participation, and they will later be made available on the website. So today's webinar is about sustainable insect farming. Our special guests today are Ivan Albano, CEO, and Stefano Magnaghi, Research and Development of the Italian cricket farming. Welcome, Ivan and Stefano, and thank you for accepting our invitation. Next webinar will be on the 19th of May at 3 p.m. Central Europe time, and it will be about sustainable beekeeping, with testimonials of Raglio di Luna, a honey producer. So I'm Paolo Bray, founder and director of the World Sustainability Organization. The WSO has launched and manages Friend of the Sea and Friend of the Earth, which are both sustainable certification standards for products and services, as well as groups of conservation projects and campaigns. Over 1,000 companies from 70 countries have products certified by these standards. According to a major 2019 scientific review, the world's insect populations have declined an average 41%, while a third are endangered. The extinction rate of insects is 8 times faster than mammals, birds, and reptiles, and there are suggestions that they could totally vanish within a century. The impact of fewer insects would be devastating, with birds, reptiles, amphibians, and fish that rely on them for food starving to death. The knock-on effects could eventually have repercussions for the survival of mankind. Over half of the world's butterflies have died over the past decade, and the Western monarcha reduced to 20% of its original population. And nearly half of all beetles and bees are also perishing. In order to proactively protect endangered butterflies, Friend of the Earth has launched and carries out 2 major programs for butterflies conservation, and we are looking also for support and sponsorship for interested parties and companies. We have carried out ex situ reproduction of some endangered species of butterflies and released them periodically in protected areas. We have also launched a global butterfly census. It is a citizen science program to collect data on butterfly sightings globally in order to improve species range knowledge, population estimated numbers, and improve, consequently, conservation initiatives. Anyone can contribute to the global butterfly census by sending to our WhatsApp number butterflies sighted in the wild and their geo coordinates. More info on the Friend of the Earth website. But let me provide you now with some data on the size and trends of the edible and not edible insects market. The global insect-based ingredients market is valued at $9.2 billion in 2016 and is expected to register growth of 32% during the forecast period up until 2023. The market for insect-based ingredients can be segmented into market for insect-based animal feed, insect-based human food, such as honey, insect-based pharmaceutical products, insect-based protein, cosmetics, ornaments, and decorative, and silk. More recent forecast specific for the edible insect market, you see up on the right top, indicates a likely compound annual growth rate of 25.5% from 2020 to 2027 to reach $4.63 billion. Globally, 2 billion people consume insects. Insects are eaten in over 80% of the world's nations. This practice is called entomophagy, highest concentration located in Africa and the tropics. Most commonly consumed insects are beetles, caterpillars, bees, wasps, ants, grasshoppers, locusts, and crickets in order of relevance. 19 1,900 species are eaten worldwide. About 38% of the consumers are unfamiliar with edible insect protein as of 2017. However, most people which have attitudes are positive or neutral. So there is a chance of improving attitude with appropriate information. In terms of market value, however, currently Asia Pacific represents 1/3, followed by Latin America, Europe, and North America. Major categories of edible insects products are, in order of importance, flour, protein bars, and snacks. The edible insect market is growing, and Sainsbury, for example, has been the first retailer in Europe back in 2018 to launch an edible insect range. Also, the pet food industry is a potential market, and we know its impact in terms of eating other origins of animal proteins. It consumes 1/4 of meat and fish globally, with the consequent environmental impact. So it's very important to try and substitute these origins with lower impact ones. And so a limited but growing number of products made of insects, raw material, are available on the market. Feed also is very important for aquaculture and other farming. And feed composition has changed over the years, with plant protein substituting fish meal and fish oil, fish trimming now composing more than 30% of the feed. And each has, of course, pros and cons. According to a recent study, insect feed has potential to replace between 10%, as you can see on this image on the top right, as an alternative protein source, to 50% of the soy meal feed used in poultry and cattle applications. The global insect feed market is currently approximately valued at $1 billion. 40% of the insect meal is used to produce poultry feed, while 35% is used for aquaculture feed. A 50% growth is expected in the next 5 years, so definitely a growing sector. Insects production has potential impacts which need to be minimized in all phases. Next speakers will provide much more details on this. The WSO has therefore developed standard requirements for the certification of products on sustainable insect farming. The certified products will in the end be authorized to use the Friend of the Sea and the Friend of the Earth logo to underline their engagement to reduce impact on both land and aquatic habitat. The requirements span from insects husbandry to feed specifications, water, energy, and waste management, as well as social accountability. The full list of requirements is available on our website. In 2019, InnovaFeed was the first company to have their products from black soldiers flies certified Friend of the Sea and Friend of the Earth. The company uses local agricultural byproducts to feed the insects. And InnovaFeed is, in fact, one of the largest insect meal productions in Europe. So I will now invite Ivan Albano and Stefano Magnaghi of Italian Cricket Farm to complete the information I provided with their presentation, which of course will also go more in depth on their specific production. And while I pass the microphone to them, I launch today's interactive poll, which I invite you to answer. I will show the final results at the end of the session after the questions and answer. So I will launch the poll now, and then I will pass the microphone. The poll today, differently from the past, is a bit more fun or funny or a curiosity poll. So I invite you to participate. And the question is, which insect can reach biggest size? Crickets, butterflies, beetle, or others? And I will show the results at the end of the session. Thank you for answering. So I am passing you the control, let me know then in case you have some issues. Okay, I see that you're picking it up. Wonderful. So please go ahead and thank you very much.
So good morning, everyone. I'm Stefano Magnaghi. I'm here with the CEO of our company, Mr. Ivan Albano. And today we are going to talk about our insect farm and in general about the state of the art regarding the use of insects in the agri-food sector or in general in the agri-food chain. So what is entomoculture? Entomoculture is fundamentally insect breeding on an agro-industrial scale. And about that, since 2013, the FAO published a text dealing with insect farming, saying that this type of farming could be a sustainable alternative to the food protein chain. Insects are increasing talking about, and in 2015, the European Union regulated the human handling of insects by issuing the famous Novel Food Regulation. But why insects? Because if they are bred, they have an extremely fast life cycle, usually 60 days to complete an entire life cycle. They have a very high protein value. For example, cricket have 66% protein on a dry weight basis, and in general require a very little to produce and generate a quickly production, which means that according to a LCA logic, they have a very low environmental impacts compared to traditional farming. It's for this reason that in 2017, Italian cricket farm was born in Italy, in a small town near Torino, Scalenghe. The company was founded with a mission to become the largest insect farm in Italy. We can say that the mission is earned in 2019, and today we are aiming at Europe. Let us give you some information about our company. Regarding our production, we produce about 1 million insects per day. The technology we use will be among the most advanced in Europe, as we are part of the European project Horizon 2020 named Corosect, based on the development of robotic insect breeding system. Our know-how is perhaps our most important asset, and we are protecting it through 2 patents. An important point on which our company has always been committed is animal welfare. We use methods of suppression that are probably not very cruel, probably because not much is known yet about pain in insects. And we have recently financed and participated in an academic study focused on this issue. In addition to all of this, we have many initiatives and collaboration with national and international bodies. So now I will tell you about the 3 main insects used in animal husbandry. The first is, of course, the house cricket, Aqueta domesticus. This insect has the best nutritional value, about 66% protein, with all 9 essential amino acids. Inevitably, it has a high production cost, but it is our top insect. The second is the mealworm, Tenebrio molitor. This is an extremely flexible insect, great for insect feed for hens, pigs, and fish. We produce about 400 kilos per month. The third insect is Black Soldier 5, perhaps the most efficient, but at the same time, it has the poorest nutritional value and in general has some problems with food safety. We have the technology, and in the future, we will also breed this insect. Now we are going to talk about the market for insect, a market that is very much linked to current laws. Obviously, we are talking about the Italian and the European laws. The first is the pet food market. It is a fast-growing market, especially because dog and cat owners increasingly want sustainable food for their pets. It's thanks to this market that our company has been able to grow and develop over the year. The market for insect for human food is considered the business of the future. This is actually the most sustainable use of insect. Is regulated by the Novel Food Act, and our company sent all the technical documentation to EFSA, European Food Security Authority, years ago to certify our cricket flour. This product, the cricket flour, will be added mainly to pasta to create a 100% Italian superfood for both the Italian and the European market. Regarding the use of insect as feed for farm animals, European laws are very complex. Currently, the insect can be given alive to pigs and chicken and processed to fish. These are very important markets, and as we can see from the large investment in France in the last year, and it will be a sustainable sector if we work in a circular economy, exploiting the potential of the insect to increase the social and economic sustainability of small and medium-sized farms. Our company believes strongly in this process, and we will soon have a small breeding farm of egg-laying hens to start experimenting and rooting this practice throughout Italy. Speaking of which, we would like to tell you about our next project, Tenebrio Uovo. Our company will produce, the model is this. Our company will produce mealworm. The mealworm is the insect you can see in the slide. Mealworm eggs, and grow the first stage of the insect. The young insect will be transferred to local farms where we put a litter breeding system, feed the insect with agricultural waste, and use the insect to feed the hens or eventually sold the insect. The organic waste generated by the insect will be used as fertilizer for the field. The small farm, micronized farms, insect farms, will be digitally connected to Italian cricket farm or other mother farm, so that we can monitor the progress of the insect. So there has been a lot of interest in this model, and to date we have a pre-contract with more than 40 farms in Italy. In addition, this project meets the Sustainable Development Goal, and you are looking for national or international partner to develop it. Once again, the Horizon Fund will be the most suitable instrument. So thank you very much for your attention, and if you are interested in us, please contact us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Stefano, and for this very interesting presentation, and congratulations for your programs and initiatives. I will now look at the questions that we received, and then we will also look at the answers from the poll. So let's see if I can take okay, great. So we have some questions already. So we have a question: how to take a butterfly picture including GPS position from a mobile phone? Well, that's the answer is quite easy. Basically, if you use WhatsApp, there is a function whereby you can send your position just after you have taken the picture, and that will be sufficient for us to understand that the butterfly was in that geographic location. So then we have a question: why the BSF have more legislative issues than the others? I think Stefano or Ivan can answer to this. You need to turn on your microphone.
Yes. So, okay.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, yes.
Okay. So, in our experience, and we work with Italian legislation, so Italian law. So we think that the real skill of black soldier fly is to breed them with waste of a lot of compartment of agriculture, of food industry. So it's and because black soldier fly can eat every kind of meal, and this is the efficiency of black soldier fly, a true efficiency. And about that, it's very difficult to have a control on the top of the agri-food chain. So it's very difficult to have a control on the waste generated, for example, by restoration sector. Okay, and so this is the true potential of the black soldier fly. So in the state of art, we work with EFSA and other national and international authority, and every day they focus the questions on the feed we give to the insect. So, for example, and with this question, I can talk about the other question. For our insect, Aqueta domesticus, for the moment, we need to use a feed very certified, that it's not very sustainable, but it's very certified, because in this moment we can't exploit the maximum of sustainability, because we need to work very well on food security, and after that change the law, and after that be more sustainable. And I can continue to talk, Paolo. And about the sustainability of Aqueta domesticus. Aqueta domesticus, for example, is less sustainable in a LSCA logic with Tenebrio monitor. Yes, this is true. It's less sustainable, have a consumption of water, more consumption of water, and more consumption of feed, and have a low density. Okay, so it's less sustainable, but at the same time have a best quality. So, and other things, they don't generate disgust. I don't know disgust. The people think of Aqueta domesticus, it's like a crustaceous. Okay, so it's less sustainable, but it's important for the food market. For example, in our presentation, we talk about Aqueta domesticus for the food market and Tenebrio monitor for a feed or pet market.
Thank you very much, Stefano. And please feel free to go in detail on the answers. It's perfectly fine, and I'm sure everybody will appreciate. So, have you already answered the following question about is Italian cricket? Okay, so the question is cricket farming lower environmental impact compared to other insects farming?
So it's a difficult question, because we are in Italy and we are the biggest insect farm, but we are not the only, but something like that. So it's very difficult to compare our production to other production. So, and I repeat, we are in Italy and this sector is not growing. It's, for the moment, it's difficult to grow. So we don't have a lot of data for our production to make a certificated LSCA to understand what is our level of impact. Okay, so but I can in our insect farming, for example, if it exists a bio certificate for insect farming, for us it's not difficult to take this bio certificate, because we don't have input. The only input is the work, and it's the feed for the cricket, and that's it.
Yes, and I think that in any way you have already described, and there are several studies which confirm the lower impact, at least on most of the impact factors of insect farming when compared to the alternative and, let's say, more traditional sources of proteins. This said, however, of course, there is still a limitation in the supply, in the growth of the technology, etc., which, however, we feel that is going to be breached and improved over the next few years. So all this is very encouraging. And so we have another question that's what has been the impact of COVID-19 health emergency on your production activities? Has this sector been very affected in Italy and in general in Europe?
So, as I said, breeding insect is sustainable. So a sustainable system, that means they don't have input. So that means when the global system collapses, a sustainable system continue to grow. So in the COVID-19, we don't have problem. We don't have problem because we are a breeding system, so you can continue to work. We need to continue to work because if you don't go to work, the insect died. So we have continued to grow. And at the same time, we sell insect for pet market, no? And the pet need to eat. So our farm don't have a problem for this pandemic. At the same time, we do a growth because, for example, in Italy, all the insects come to import from east of Europe. Okay, so with the crisis of COVID-19, we have to a barrier, and we can't import insect for external country, and we have to do a more business.
That's very interesting. Thank you, Stefano. Of course, being basically a closed cycle production, this has nothing to do with the issues of COVID-19 developed most likely from wild animals, etc. Absolutely nothing to do. In particular, in the production in your farm and in Europe in general, where the laws are very strict in this regard. And that's why we are also there for with the certification. This is also one of the reasons. Not only, of course, there are better placed standards for food safety out there, but sometimes food safety is also related to good practices, responsible and sustainable practices. And so I connect, therefore, also on the following question, which asks Stefano to expand a bit on insect welfare project, and so on our side, I would also highlight the fact that our certification requirements for insect farming include a section on welfare, which relate to issues like temperature, feed, in some cases for some insects density, and so on. So I invite everybody to contact us or to look at our website on the dedicated section. The checklist with all the requirements is there, and you can already have an idea of the most relevant issues related to welfare in there. But I also would like to hear from Stefano, if you can provide some more detail about your experience on the insect welfare and what you look at and so on. Thank you.
Okay, so in the last year we have conducted a study in collaboration with the University of Torino and master Masra. It's a master for UNESCO chair. And we have conducted a study to the density of Aqueta domestico to try to understand if we have a optimistic density compared to animal welfare, okay? Because for the moment it's very complex to understand if the insect feel pain or not feel pain or what is pain. Okay, so we have do a step back and try to understand with the density if the welfare is respected. Now the study is sent to Convegno Nazionale Entomologi Italiani. It's a national conference of entomologists, and we have passed the first stage. So in the next month we build an article, okay, and so after that we share this on the every academy research site, okay. So we are in the first phase. We are build the data, we are elaborate the data, and now we are trying to complete the study and validate it.
Wonderful, thank you very much, Stefano. Is cricket farming cheaper, more productive in terms of the finished product compared to other insect farming, Stefano, as far as you know? Has that been one of the reasons why you decided to start cricket farming, or maybe others?
No, it's not cheaper, and it's not easier than the other insect. It's more difficult. And we have started because the mission, the real mission of our company is to enter inside the food sector with the insect. And cricket is the best about that because they have a nutritional value is the best, and the same things I've talking before about the disgust because the people don't seek when see a cricket. And this is the reason, but it's difficult than Tenebrae molitor and then black soldier fly. But at the same time, we have other important skills for the cricket.
Another question is about how do you process insects into feed? Do we need a fermentation process? Did you understand the question? How do you process insect into feed? How do you process insects into feed? Do we need a fermentation process? Un processo di fermentazione?
No, we don't need, because we have we use the physics to make low the water, more low, 5% of humidity in the feed. So in this case, we have a long shelf life, 9-12 months, and we don't have this problem. But at the same time, a student go out from our farming are in a research program, and they are studying the fermentation in the cricket feed to make lower and lower the bacterial level.
Thank you. A question for me: how to apply for insect farming certification? How long does the audit take? Well, on our website, there's an area on the main menu dedicated to companies, and there you can find the link to apply. And in there, you'll find preliminary information forms that you can fill out, and you will be contacted with the proposal in a matter of 24 hours. And you are able to see the requirements and the checklist, which are available on the website for download. And the audit, depending on your availability, would take, let's say, the whole process from signing the agreement to the final certification takes about, on average, 1 month. It can be relatively shorter, but there's some technical time that has to be allowed also for the auditor to analyze the collected data and to produce the audit report. The actual on-site audit is something around 1 day, and then of course there's preparation and request for additional documental evidence. So we have one more question. Or a couple of more questions or more. Oh, wow, they are multiplying. Well, that's fine. It shows there's interest. And how much effort and time are you expecting to spend in order to get approval for a novel food containing insect-based ingredients, given the last novel food regulation from development to market? Wow, well, you can approximate, Stefano, I don't know, how much time to get approval for a novel food in Italy, at least.
Okay. So Italian Cricket Farm is the only company in Italy that have sent all the material to EFSA, all the analytical data and the other study to EFSA to certify a product derived by insect. So we have sent all the material last year. We trust all the problem are solved, and the application go on at the end of 2021. Okay, this is the what EFSA he said, and about that we needed to start the production some month before, and we think in the middle of 2021, we can go to the market with our cricket flour. Our cricket flour is obviously a product that be mixed and added in the normal pasta, okay? And so we can obtain a superfood with carbohydrate, protein, and everything. So this is our projection for the next 2-3 years.
Wonderful. Then I have a question for Friend of the Sea, Friend of the Earth. What are the benefits from the Friend of the Sea, Friend of the Earth certification? Edible and not edible? Well, yes, I'll just mention one for each. Edible insects or products from raw material from edible insects, then the main benefit, I would say, is to be able to highlight to the end consumer that when they make this choice, when they purchase a product from insects, they or with part of the ingredients from insects raw material, they're also doing something good for the environment, because they are reducing their impact compared to alternative proteins, basically. And while this is, let's say, almost given for granted for people in this arena, it is not always so clear to all consumers. And as far as products mainly for feed, aquaculture feed, for example, well, being the Friend of the Sea certification well spread among aquaculture producers, and in particular those aware of environmental issues and so on, we are able, with the Friend of the Sea certification, to recommend these producers to use these feeds, because they are, together with other origins, controlled for their environmental impact, and possibly also lower impact than other alternatives. One more question for us: is it possible to use the logo of certification on products? Yes, definitely. As far as finished products for human consumption, it will depend also on the percentage of the total ingredients which comes from Friend of the Sea or Friend of the Earth certified origin. But definitely there is a possibility to mention this. And of course, it's possible to mention this on products which are made only of this certified origin, as well as the raw material for B2B purposes. Certification is valid worldwide. Yes, definitely. As I mentioned, another company, InnovaFeed, with the different target, different production, so on, is certified, and they sell globally. And in general, Friend of the Sea and Friend of the Earth certifications are present on products from companies from about 70 to 80 different countries worldwide. Do you currently produce fish feed for the industry? What insects do you use? Do you think this market will increase a lot? Fish feed, Stefano, for basically for aquaculture, I believe that's the question.
Okay, so as we can say that we are born with cricket. Now we produce Tenebrio molitor, and Tenebrio molitor is the insect, or black soldier fly is the insect for aquaculture, because cricket can't compete with soya for the price. Even mealworm, even black soldier fly, but it's more easy, okay? The cost is lower than cricket, so we can start to think about economic competition. So we have started to breed the Tenebrio molitor, I think 5, 6, 7, 8 months ago. Now we have a production about 400 kilograms per month. We need to grow again. And in this moment, we have just a pre-contact with some fish industry, okay? So for the moment, we have not yet produced Tenebrium molitor flour for the fish, but we are starting to produce Tenebrium molitor, and we are starting to build a commercial network throughout Italy.
Thank you, Stefano. And sorry, somebody is asking, what is the major request of insects for pets industry? Well, from what I've seen, the soldier, how do you call it, the black soldier fly insect larvae are those that I've seen more frequently announced in the products, but I don't have an actual statistics about this. Do you know, maybe Stefano, or you have heard if one specific product is used for pet food?
It depends, because for the moment we have different line of pet food with insects for the pet animals. Okay, so we have pet food for animal with insect. For the high level, have cricket. Medium level, have Tenebrium molitor.
Okay, I see.
Have black soldier fly. Because the nutritional value of insect is different and the price is different.
So you mean that your company is providing this? Okay, great. So, well, there's another question which I think I somehow answered. What about insect welfare, in particularly for the BSF? I think you know, you can find somehow the answers in our checklist. I don't know if you want to add something, Stefano. I remember there are some, let's say, that the temperature, for example, can influence quite a lot the welfare of the insect, and also, of course, the way that it's terminated at the end, if it is.
For the moment, it's very difficult to talk about insect welfare, because really we are know if insects feel pain, have memory, or something else, because maybe for evolutionary process it's useless to feel this kind of sentiment of pain, etc. So we don't know. In this time, if you search something about insect feel pain in the literature, you can find 5, 6, 7 article scientific publication. And at this moment, the scientists have found something notch chapter like on the Drosophila melanogaster, and something else in black soldier fly. But the state of art is very, very poor. So the industry of insect, what can do? What can think? They should think insect feel pain, okay? And so we can try to understand what is the kind of pain, and respect the welfare of the animal. It's based on think about the animal in the nature, okay? So, for example, our crickets stay at 28 degrees. So, okay, we can put cricket at 28 degrees, and something like that. Tenebrium molitor need to go under the substrate, under the terrain. Okay, so we switch off the light and we put Tenebrium molitor under the substrate, and something like that. But at a scientific level, we don't have nothing.
Yes, but Stefano, you mentioned something very interesting, which somehow is similar to the concept of, or applies to the concept of precautionary principle. So in science, when you're missing data about something, in particular biological data, you try to treat the animal as much in a way as similar as possible to their way of living in nature, in the wild, basically. So okay, that's answered. And somebody asks again about the timeline and process for certification for feed and pet food. I think somehow I already answered. There's an area on the apply space on our menu on our website, on the friendofthe-earth.org or friendofthe-sea.org website. You can also drop me an email. And normally 1 month on average between signing, proceeding, and getting the certificate, if there are no major non-conformities to be corrected. So can you expand on automation in the rearing facility? How much human intervention is needed in order to keep the colony functional? Oh, that's a very interesting question for you, Stefano.
At the moment, we use a lot of work, okay, man-hour work, but it's easy to automatize an insect farming, okay? We are starting the automatization process in 2019, and at this moment, other insect farming in Europe are very automatized, and our insect farm is inserted inside a European project, Horizon 2020, to thinking about a semi-automatized industry. Why that? Because insect is an animal. Insect is alive. You can't do a total automatization because the genetic change, the climate change, the pathogen change, etc., etc. So it's important to have the machine to aid the work of the man when the work is very stereotype, but at the same time you need the eyes of the man because it's a biological system, and the machine learning, I think it's not enough to understand the complexity of the life.
Well, you know, with artificial intelligence, Stefano, maybe soon we'll start having artificial eyes and somebody reasoning even better than we are. Yes, Stefano?
Our project work on artificial intelligences, and we have a lot of engineers in the north of Europe better than us, and he says the same things I said. So it's quite impossible to substitute the man in this kind of work. And we are working with VR, we are working with artificial intelligence, deep learning, and something like that. So I think for the end of the project, we can reach this objective to substitute the demand, and the end of the project is into 2024. Okay.
Wonderful. And this makes me think, you know, that with all these questions, one day we should do a webinar on site. So if that will be possible with you or with other companies involved also in our certification, showing, you know, the participants the actual site and how we are working. Of course, you know, limited to those technologies that you can disclose or those processes you can disclose. That would be very interesting for the future. But let's go on. We have I would like to limit it to 1 hour maximum, so we have 8 minutes left with the poll. We have a few questions more which are multiplying. Do you extract insect oil, or is it just the meal for the pet industry, Stefano? Oil. Do you do oil?
So we are starting to extract oil about 3-4 months. We are on an experimental process for the moment. We collaborate with other university in Italy, and we want to use this oil for different market. One interesting market is cosmetic market, okay? Because for all other the market we have obviously problem related to law, no? Okay, because it's alimentary, I don't know what. But for the cosmetic market, we don't have a lot of law because it's not a food, okay? So we are working in this in the street, and we are working on extraction of oil from mealworm. They have 40% of oil, and that depend to the capacity to extract the oil, how much oil you can take for 1 kilo of flour, for example. And at the same time, we are working on the extraction of oil for Aqueta domesticus. Aqueta domesticus have a lower level of oil, but as usual, have a oil with more quality. The specification of oil is better than Tenebrio monitor.
Wonderful, Stefano. Thank you very much. And what is maybe you can try and answer in a short way the next question. So what is the process for permission to produce and sell food safety and legislation for BSFL, and how long does it take? Maybe from your experience, you can tell us an average.
Okay. First of all, depend where do you have your business. For I think it's in Europe. Okay, so in Europe, BSFL for the human consumption, you need to spend something like 100 million. 100.000 euro, Paolo, scusami.
100,000 euros.
Euros, that's it, to build the technical dossier, okay? Technical dossier is a lot of study and a lot of analytical data. Send the technical dossier to European Union, DG Sante office and EFSA, and you start, okay? About that, 2-3 years, it depends. It depends of your dossier, it depends of your line of production, but this is the time and this is the cost. So if you can guess, okay, in a other company make this send this dossier and make public the data.
Okay.
But for the moment, for the BSFL, no company have sent the dossier with public data.
Okay. This is a cricket or?
Yeah.
Okay, just 10 seconds for the next answer. Can we hear more about the food safety concerns with black soldiers fly production? It was mentioned by Stefano at the beginning. Stefano, they asked about food safety concerns with black soldier fly production very shortly. A microphone.
The potential of black soldier fly is based on the capacity of black soldier fly to degrade every kind of substrate. Okay, so respect the cricket, black soldier fly can eat everything and are more sustainable, obviously. And this is the skill of black soldier fly. At the same time, have a lower quality, but okay, because they have a lot of efficiency. At the same time, this efficiency in the eyes of EFSA, it's not good, because you can go to feed an insect a product when you don't have the traceability, okay? Because the feed for the insect can be very safety. So this is the first. This is the problem for the black soldier fly, because if you have a safe black soldier fly, you don't have a sustainable black soldier fly, or you have less sustainability of this insect. And at the same time, this insect it's very expensive to build a breeding system. So we have we go in a economic problem and something like that.
Okay. Still, I think that where it is produced, there aren't really safety issues if it's sold in the market and everything. So it's a relative risk, but if produced and sold, then the risk is at zero level, basically. I would like to ask a question about the farming technique, if possible. have you developed mathematical models that allow you to describe the effect of temperature, humidity, population density, and other parameters on the growth curves? If you have, you probably are not going to disclose it, I suppose.
Correct.
So you have.
Yeah.
You have, of course, you know, anybody who is interested on more information, you can send us an email, and you know, to the maximum possible, we will provide you with additional information. On top of that, we are thinking also of organizing one of our technical courses, which are free of charge for the companies which are Friend of CEO, Friend of the Earth certified. They cost a little bit, a very small symbolic amount for external, where we can provide eventually more technical information. I'm sure there is already some literature and studies which have tried to formulate these formulas, to produce these formulas. And the very last question for pet food: what is the process for permission to produce and sell to BSFL, and how long does that take? But not for human food, for pet food. Probably maybe less, or I don't know. That's the last question we take, and then we go to the poll.
For the pet food, you don't have a problem, because it depends of your nation. Okay, it depends to your nation, but it's not. You don't have a particular problem to produce insect, even black soldier fly, and to sell it for pet food. Obviously, you need to have a good traceability and a high level of food security, but it's in general, okay? It's like to make a jam. It's the same things. But at the same time, we have good news, because you can use the insect for hens and pigs just alive, okay? And processed just for the fish. But today, the rules are changed. So we can use the processed insect for even pigs and chicken. And are changed today.
Great. Thank you very much, Stefano, for your very comprehensive answers. Let's go to the polls, view the results. Let's see if you got it right. So somebody says that butterflies, most people say that butterflies can reach the biggest size. Others say crickets, and 4 say beetles, and 2 others. Do you know the answer, Stefano? Because I know the answer. I will show now you the biggest insects on my screen. But do you know the answer? What is the biggest?
No, I don't know. Sorry.
You don't know? Crickets,
no,
or?
I don't, non ho seguito, come si dice?
Which is the biggest insect in the world? Is it a cricket, a butterfly, a beetle, or something else?
If you consider the wings, I think a butterfly.
And what about the weight?
Coleoptera.
No, you should know. Come on. Okay, I will show you. Okay, I'll just share my screen. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? Okay. So here it is. The biggest is the giant wheater. That's the biggest in terms of weight. It can weigh up to 71 grams. It is found in New Zealand, and it's vulnerable. It dates back to the time of the dinosaurs. Giant wheater, you can see it here. And the largest, you were right, is a butterfly, which reaches up to 28 centimeters. It's found in the forest in PNG, in Papua New Guinea. It's called Queen Alexandria's birdwing. And however, the longest is the stick insect. I mean, look at this picture. And it's from Getty Images. Thank you very much. And it's found in New Zealand. It's a sticky insect. It reaches 64 centimeters. And it dates back also to the dinosaurs, I think. Well, but this is really impressive. And I hope you found the whole presentation interesting. And I again thank very much the Italian cricket for participating to this event, for accepting our invitation. The product is certified, so we will shortly announce all this. And I thank everybody also in the among the participants for the interesting questions and the enthusiastic participation and interested participation. I remind you again that the next webinar is going to be again about something related to insects, sustainable beekeeping, and it's going to be held on the 19th of May, so next month at 3 p.m. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ivan. Thank you, Stefano. And we will be back soon. Have a great rest of the day.
Subscribe to our channel to get more content about sustainability.